Good morning, all. Welcome back again. We have already learned about the states of matter. Now we need to answer the question that can matter changes its state? Let's see. Yes, matter can change its state. As you can see here, solid is converted into the liquid state on heating, whereas again on heating, liquid state is converted into the gaseous state. Now gaseous state on cooling, back again it is converted into liquid state, and again after cooling it is converted into solid state. So we can say that yes, the states of matter can interchange as they are the physical changes. So ice on melting converts into the water where the particles move faster and further apart. Now when water is heated, it starts boiling where the particles are far apart and move very quickly. And how these changes of matter are affected by the change of temperature. We know with increase in temperature, the kinetic energy of the body in motion increases. Here is the example how the particles of matter vibrates when the temperature is increased and they start moving far apart. The temperature at which a solid melts is called its melting point. This process is also known as fusion. You can see the example of melting of ice, which is caused due to the global warming. Now, when a solid melts, its temperature remains the same. So, where does the heat energy go? This heat gets used up in changing the state by overcoming the forces of attraction between the particles. As this heat energy is absorbed by ice without showing any rise in temperature, it is considered that it gets hidden into the contents of the beaker and it is known as latent heat. So, latent heat of fusion means the amount of heat energy required to change 1 kg of a solid into a liquid at atmospheric pressure at its melting point. You will be surprised to know that adding salt to the ice lowers the melting point of ice, because the melting point of a substance also depends upon the purity of the substance. Next, boiling. So the temperature at which a liquid starts boiling is called its boiling point. Similarly, as soon as the liquid reach its boiling point, it do not raise the temperature. So where the temperature goes, again this rise in temperature, the amount of heat is utilized by the whole bulk to undergo boiling. So that is termed as latent heat of vaporization. So the amount of heat energy required to change 1 kg of a solid into gas at atmospheric pressure at its boiling point is called the latent heat of vaporization. Again, a surprising fact that if you add a salt to the boiling water, the boiling point of water increases. It takes more time to boil because on dilution of the solute into the water, it prepares a solution, so which increases the boiling point of the original solvent, that is water. The atmosphere contains molecules that are in constant motions. They exert a downward pressure. So, the boiling point of a solvent is affected by the atmospheric pressure and the boiling point is raised. It can be clear from this straight line graph that as altitude is increasing, your boiling point is decreasing. Initially, the altitude was 0 feet. At that time, the boiling point was 212 degree Fahrenheit, whereas it has decreased down when the altitude is increased. Next process is sublimation, where the solid is directly converted into gas without entering into the liquid state of matter. Here is an activity which shows how sublimation takes place. The basic examples of the sublimating substance are camphor that you use at your home and even naphthalene balls. The iodine is an sublimating substance and ammonium chloride too is a sublimating substance. Now ammonium chloride is kept in this evaporating dish where it is heated and getting converted back into the gases. Now this gases is condensed in the funnel. This gas is condensed inside the funnel because inside the funnel a wet filter paper is kept, which helps to condense the gas. One more important note is how to convert Celsius scale into the Kelvin scale. We know the melting point of ice is 0 degrees Celsius, which is equal to 273 Kelvin in the Kelvin scale. Now, Kelvin is equals to degree T Celsius plus 273. Suppose if any Kelvin is given, any Celsius scale measurement is given, so we can easily convert it into Kelvin scale or vice versa. To convert it into Kelvin scale, the Celsius value is added with the 273 value and we will get the Kelvin value. Next, how the change of states of matter is affected with the pressure. So as we have seen in the case of temperature, that with increase in temperature, the state of matter is converted from solid to liquid and liquid to gas. Because with increase in temperature, the kinetic energy of the particle increases. Now with increase in pressure, you can see here as the pressure is applied, the particles of matter are brought closer together. Now here is the example of the dry ice, which is the solid form of carbon dioxide gas used in most of the cold storages. So this is how the phase changes of matter. Either we can name it as state or phase. Solid to liquid by melting, liquid to gas by evaporation, solid to gas by sublimation. Now gas to solid by deposition, gas to liquid by condensation and gas to solid by freezing. Thank you. Have a good day. Today I have one question for you. Do we always need to heat or change pressure for changing the state of matter? Can you quote some examples from everyday life where change of state from liquid to vapor takes place without the liquid reaching the boiling point? Absolutely correct. Yes, we can. For example, water when left uncovered slowly changes into vapor. Wet clothes dry up. So what might have taken place in these above examples? Exactly. Evaporation takes place. We know that the particles of matter are always moving and never at rest. At a given temperature in any gas, liquid or solid, there are particles with different amounts of kinetic energy. In the case of liquids, a small fraction of particles at the surface having higher kinetic energy, which is able to break away from the forces of attraction of other particles and gets converted into vapor. The phenomenon of change of a liquid into vapors at any temperature below its boiling point is called evaporation. And this is the natural example of the evaporation, that is the water cycle. Next, factors affecting evaporation. How the rate of evaporation can be affected. So, it is surface area which affects the rate of evaporation, such as for an example, the water is kept in a glass, whereas water is kept in this open container. So where the evaporation will be faster. But obvious, where the container mouth is wider enough, that will be evaporated more faster in the presence of the sunlight. Because more the surface area, more the rate of evaporation. So next is temperature. As we all know that as temperature increases, the kinetic energy of the particles also increases. So with increase of temperature, more number of particles get enough kinetic energy to go into the vapor state. Third is humidity. Humidity means having moisture in the atmosphere, so which decreases the rate of evaporation. Next is wind speed. As you all can see over here, that how wind speed helps us to dry our clothes more easily. It is a common observation that clothes dry faster on a windy day. With increasing wind speed, the particles of water vapor move away with the wind, decreasing the amount of water vapor in the surrounding. How does evaporation cause cooling? In an open vessel, the liquid keeps on evaporating. The particles of liquid absorbs energy from the surrounding to regain the energy lost during evaporation. These absorption of energy from the surrounding make the surroundings cold. We can have many more different examples, such as keeping acetone on our palm, and after some time it makes our palm cool because acetone is a volatile liquid where it absorbs the heat from our palm and evaporates easily. Then we can also see water droplets on the outside surface of a glass containing the ice cold water. That is also due to the evaporation. And similarly, when we sweat, we feel cool because our sweat gets evaporated by absorbing heat from our body and which makes us feel cool. And that is the reason why it has been advised to wear cotton clothes during summer, because cotton can absorb water molecules very easily. And in the similar manner, our air cooler and AC and even the water kept in earthen pot becomes cool. Now let's check how evaporation differs from boiling. Evaporation is a surface phenomena where the molecules on the surface are having more of kinetic energy, and their vapor pressure is less than the atmospheric pressure, hence the bubbles cannot form. Whereas in boiling, vapor pressure is equal to the atmospheric pressure, hence bubbles can form inside and it can rise. Therefore, boiling is termed as a bulk phenomena. Boiling takes place at a particular temperature, whereas evaporation can take place at any temperature. Modern scientists are talking about the five states of matter. So let us know about them. That is, one of them is plasma. The state consists of super energetic and super excited particles. These particles are in the form of ionized gases. The fluorescent tube and neon sign bulbs consist of plasma. Inside a neon sign bulb, there is a neon gas, and inside a fluorescent tube, there is a helium gas or some other gas. The gas gets ionized, that is, gets charged when electrical energy flows through it. This charging up creates a plasma glowing inside the tube or bulb, and hence we can use this as an advertisement hoardings. Next come Bose-Einstein condensate, which has been discovered by Satyendranath Bose and Albert Einstein. The Bose-Einstein condensate is formed by cooling a gas of extremely low density, about 100,000, the density of normal air, to super low temperatures. Hence, you can see the example of condensation of chromium atoms.